Hello everyone, welcome to the Monuments and Ruin wrap-up for episode number 141 on TrendkillRadio.com. I hope you enjoyed the show. Going to try something a little bit different this week with the wrap-up video. Essentially this is the same programming, but I'm going to try to do something where I can more discuss the video with you as opposed to just recording the video and then trying to catch up with the comments. So we'll see if it works. If it does, this should be a fun and successful experiment, and if not, I'm just going to go back to the previous way as I've done them before. So here we go. First up, we started with Dr. Hook, as I mentioned, out of the free bin. So this is the Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show. I almost said the old Medicine Show. I don't know why. Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show, self-titled there. Do not have a cover for this. Killer record and a great band. Someone was recently talking about these guys on social media, and I cannot remember who it was, but I stumbled onto this record without a cover immediately after, and of course using it for testing some turntables and such, decided it had to be the show opener this week. Cool stuff, and if you've never heard more of this band outside of Cover of a Rolling Stone you're probably familiar with, I think you'll get into this. Good stuff. The track I played kind of reminds me a little bit of Captain Beefheart, something like that, maybe the Magic Band. So back to the free bin. If you're ordering from Inherent Records, you very well may get this in one of your packages. Following that up with a new purchase this week. Not a new release, just a new purchase for me. Mike Patton and the Dillinger Escape Plan. Irony is a Dead Scene. I've had this CD for quite a while. I think it's really cool. Pretty sure this is the only collaboration that they've done, at least for full length. Really good stuff, and this was in between the transition for their, I'm not sure if it was the original vocalist or if it was whatever the vocalist was before this, but anyway, between him and the guy that follows, they had this EP. I guess it's an EP, might be a full length, I'm not sure. Need to recommend looking into that from someone. If you can tell me while we're talking, let me know. So anyway, this is it. I always enjoyed this artwork. They pressed this on a orange vinyl, I believe, but this one's just standard black. Nothing fancy. What I do want to talk about though, since we're always talking about different record techniques and ideas, things that we appreciate and things that we do not, I like this and I like this, but I do not like the printed sleeve. So at this point, we could probably just go with doing an insert, a lyric insert with a standard paper insert, and that way when they rip, as you can see what's going on here, they show up ripped, and then you're kind of like, oh man, what am I going to do with this thing? So multiple times just this week alone, I've wound up with torn LP insert sleeves. So just a suggestion, you can do it however you want. It's obviously your record, but yeah, the printed insert versus the printed sleeve. I'd recommend going with the insert. If it saves you any money, cool. So what do you think? You guys like the printed insert, or do you like the printed sleeve insert? Up next, we followed White Zombie, Astro Creep 2000, definitely a cool record. This tour was the only chance I got to see White Zombie. Let's see, what is the full title here? As I mentioned earlier, Astro Creep 2000, Songs of Love, Destruction, and Other Synthetic Delusions of the Electric Head. I always did like this LP layout. The artwork on the back, not so much. But what I did find out, purchased a t-shirt at this show. The guy at the merchandise booth accidentally handed me the wrong t-shirt. I did not double check it, just gave him the money, walked out of the venue, got in the car, and realized I had the wrong t-shirt. The actual t-shirt that I picked up that show, was the artwork for the inside of this album. And I did not realize that until I was putting together this show. Actually, this goes along with our technique. Check this out. So, nice solid black insert, has a static free, can be replaced easily if you want, and then on top of that you got this nice insert. There you go. So cool artwork, cool photo of the band. This silly image wound up being the t-shirt that I purchased by accident. I tried to get the long sleeve that said had the flames on the sleeve, said "Say You Love Satan" and all of that jazz. I don't know if you guys seen that tour shirt or not, but I was very envious to get that shirt the entire show. Wound up going up there, paying the guy, and then he gave me the wrong one. What a bummer. So I was not a fan of the insert artwork, but seeing it on the album definitely brings back a fond memory. That whole trip was a disaster from beginning to end. That's a story that I would be happy to talk to you about, but not on this video. So let me know if you want to talk deeper about that. Up next, The Great Tyrant. This links into last week's episode. We listened to Pinkish Black. That is a connection to this band. Some of the guys from Pinkish Black are also in this band. This is a wonderful record. Relapse 25th anniversary reissue. Well, I'm not sure if this was ever available on vinyl or not. But anyway, this is what we heard today. If it's the first pressing, I'm not sure. I probably should have researched that. The album titled The Trouble with Being Born. Really cool stuff. If you get into this, there's a whole episode that you can go back to and find more information on this band. So I'll try to find the link for that. I believe it was a Monuments in Ruin that I did previous to joining up with the Trendkill Radio team. If so, I will try to find that archive and link it here. And if not, maybe it was earlier on. I know that I'm getting confused. I'll put a link in the show notes anyway, if I can find it. Maybe it was one of the earlier Trendkill shows. So here we go. Yeah, The Great Tyrant. Great record, great band. Up next, got into some Swans. This record is killer. I'm going to have to read the title. This is one of those I never can remember correctly. Swans, My Father Will Guide Me Up a Rope to the Sky. There you go, right there. It's one of those things I'm always talking about. Make sure to cut out that that cellophane. Stickers on cellophane, just, they don't do well with me, so I try to keep that information for this very reason, so I can share it with people. This record itself, when the band re-emerged, just blew me away, and everything that they've done in this new reformed Swans version has just been top-notch. Highly recommend the entire discography, but especially this newer material really resonates with me a lot. And I like that kind of bleak album cover artwork too, just a single sleeve. They do have the printed insert, I believe, on this, just since we're talking about that as a theme. Yeah, so you know, you got the printed insert. Nice artwork there. Or I should say printed sleeve, not insert. Lyrics. Cool stuff. Nice repetitious vibe with the band. It just, something about it really, I don't know, just kind of trance vibe. I'm losing my information. There we go. See, that's why that stuff shouldn't be on the cellophane. It should be part of the record. Up next, we got into the Olivia Trimmer Control Black Foliage. I really like this sleeve art. Again, as you can see, I've tried to keep a little bit of information there for times just like now. So this actually says, Olivia Trimmer Control Black Foliage Animation Music Volume 1 Deluxe 2 LP Tip-In Gatefold Sleeve Reissue, newly remastered from the original tapes. A little bit more information there. But before we get into that, I want you guys to see this very cool artwork. I'm not sure if you would consider that to be abstract art or not. I guess you could. But overall, everything about this album is a bonus. The went with the white and the insert. Extra bonus, so no complaints here. Let me see here. What else am I gonna not complain about? Once again, no color variations. This is just a solid black version. But yeah, once again, I want to show this one more time. Just really dig. I don't know. Maybe it's the color scheme that they've chosen for this. Something about it really works for me visually. And of course, you know, the album itself. There's also the really super thick gatefold, which is what it's referencing when it's talking about this in the 2LP tip-in gatefold sleeve. Yep, heavy duty, good stuff, good record. So listen to it from front to back, and I think you'll catch more of a transition than you just caught on the show. This has a lot more to offer if you got into that track. Okay, up next, the Pointer Sisters. Man, this record is blowing my mind. There's a lot of cool stuff on here. The track we heard was just, it was actually a Dizzy Gillespie composed track. Nice little silver image of the ladies there. Cool stuff. And a funny thing about choosing a track by Dizzy Gillespie is I was almost playing another track that featured Dizzy Gillespie, and it got cut from the show because I ran out of time. So now that I'm looking at this and thinking that track was composed by him, obviously it was meant to be on the show. So the Pointer Sisters, somebody I've recently found out that I really admire. There's a lot of funky, cool stuff in this discography that I'm just now finding out about. So I wrote them off for years. I probably heard something I didn't like, and just from there on associated it with just stuff I didn't like. So there you go. Fooled me once. Pointer Sisters. Great stuff. Up next, Miss Nancy Sinatra. Okay, here you go. So, how does that grab you? That's the name of this album. I really like this back layout here, the way they have done the photography and the black and white. You've got the individual color photo here, but this back sleeve is really, I don't know, something about that really catches my eye. I almost feel like this should be the front, and then this should either be like an insert or maybe the back or something. So once again, let me show you that. Really cool layout. I love the photography choices that they did on this. And if you've never checked more into Nancy Sinatra, this is a good place to start. There's a lot more, but also you've heard Nancy Sinatra on one of the previous shows. I cannot remember if that was last week or the week before, but yeah, definitely cool stuff. Lots to get into when you start listening to this discography. Okay, up next, this was the big one, the Dixie Hummingbirds. We Love You Like a Rock. Had never heard this, recently picked it up. I don't know if you can see the boxes of stuff I have back here. Digging through some records this week. Something about these guys just really called out to me, and I knew I had to grab this record and check it out. Southern gospel, vocal, smooth as silk. I really, really enjoyed this one. The track that we heard on here, a little bit more mellow and down-toned. There you go. This is what you're looking for. If that rang a bell with you, listen to a little bit more of this album. It's worth it. Cool stuff. Dixie Hummingbirds. Okay, then we got into another new purchase for the week, Low Flying Hawks. So I did not get a chance to really talk much about this. I ran out of time, but I love the layout on this record as well. I'm going to take the plastic off this so you can see. So first of all, we've got the forest, the upside down forest put together there. But I love this part about it. I feel like we're reading the inside of the album cover. On the front, cool little black metal looking logo on the back. Obviously does not sound anything like that, as you've heard on the show. But a nice insert, once again, has a full color, or not full color, full size image, which is also upside down imagery. So the thing that really is standing out to me about this is I cannot stop looking at it. I love that the credits are here. I love that you have the band info here, 33 1/3. You've got song titles. So this says Low Flying Hawks, Jinkaku, featuring Dale Crover on drums, Trevor Dunn bass, guest vocalist Buzz Osborne. So you're getting a little bit of information straight off. Heavy without being oppressive, which I think is a fantastic review for this record. But overall, the layout of this, once again, it's like the way this is feels a little bit off-centered. the information here. I just love everything about the way they put this together. Whoever the graphic designer was that put this together, A+. So yeah, I'm telling you, the whole time this record was playing, I was just staring at it. It may not seem like much, but it kept my attention. So yeah, definitely cool stuff on this. Magnetic Eye Records, great job on putting this out. One of the things I thought was cool is that it has the 33 1/3 here. Something I've been meaning to talk about a lot recently. Let me put this up here. Closing the episode out with Spook the Horses. This album, let's see, People Used to Live Here. This is probably one of my favorite records that I picked up last year. I know I played it on the show previously, but I think that was before I had actually picked the record up. I had a promo that was sent to me, really captivated me, and I finally picked up the record. Thought it was time that we got this on the show again, just to remind you how good this record is. So what I was going to say before I get distracted, one of the things that I really love about records is when they have the times for the tracks on the sleeve. There's so much information. Sometimes these songs run together, and this is actually a great example because the track that we heard, 2 songs run together, and although you can see it on the grooves while it's playing, it's hard to really decipher how much time you have. So as putting the show together, often I'll look at this while I'm flipping through other stuff, and I'll look at the screen and I'm thinking, okay, the clock's telling me I have 5 more minutes, and I'm looking at a track that has 7 minutes. Or I'm looking at a track that has 3 minutes, and I know I can throw that on, and that's how much time I've got to grab something else and get it to the show in time. So I really miss that people are not putting track times on there anymore. I'm also guilty of doing this on some of my releases, but the more and more I do the shows for you guys, the more I really appreciate digging some of these classics out. Like the Pointer Sisters, all of those had track times with it. So Spook the Horses, great record, totally off topic from what this record was, but I wanted to talk about it anyway. So, cool. Just to give you an example, going back to this Nancy Sinatra record, so here we see it. I knew exactly what I was getting into when I chose this record for that song. Of course, I'm scanning the song titles and I'm going, yeah, man, that's going to fit perfect. I've got that much time. I'm going to be able to get another track in that segment for the listeners. So, something to think about. If you're a graphic designer or if you're putting somebody's LP sleeve together, maybe you should just hit them up and say, hey, shoot me the times. Let me see if I can work that in there because somebody out there wants to know. All right, gang. Thank you for hanging out. I will talk to you again next week. Trendkillradio.com. If you can, jump on the homepage, hit that donate button. If you cannot hit the donate button, please tell a friend. It's okay if you ride for free as long as you're sharing us with a friend. It's such a pleasure to do this and discuss all of this music with everyone. So thank you so much. I will talk to you again next week. Hope you enjoyed this video. Cheers.